Welcome back to another episode of the Scaling Up Business Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Edelman, and we're here today with Chaim Loeb. Welcome, Chaim.
Hey, Eric.
So, Chaim, you have one of the most interesting jobs because you get to work with interesting people in an area of their life that I think they may sometimes neglect, or maybe they've neglected before they meet you. So I know that you're a fitness coach, but I don't know how that works. So tell me about what you do and who your clients are and who you serve.
That's an awesome question, and I appreciate you having me here. Being a transformative online health and fitness coach brings a dynamic to the health field that's a little bit unique and a little bit different. I get to have more in-depth conversations with people to help them break through different barriers, but also give them the nutrition, practical, outlines and roadmaps and fitness routines, that keep them moving. But I'd like to say, don't just eat your chicken cutlets and do your push-ups. There's more to it that allows to prioritize this in the long term sustainably. So we prioritize mindset and habits around with our nutrition and fitness to really allow for this ambitious Jewish man who has a lot on his plate, both personally and professionally, to help them prioritize their health and fitness for the long term.
Sure. And again, I think I probably fall into your target market. I could lose 10 or maybe 20 pounds. I'm a firm guy. I run a business, a couple of businesses, and there's never enough time. So I go through stretches where I'm doing really great. I'm going to sleep on time. I'm exercising. I'm eating correctly. And then there's times when I completely blow it. So I've never been able to have that sustainable approach throughout my life, I would say. It's not terrible, but it's not great. So I know what I'm missing out on, I think, because there have been times when it's been much better and I felt better about, really everything. But what mindset is somebody like me, just to, use myself as an example, what am I missing that's not letting me follow through with it?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I don't know exactly what you're missing because we didn't go in depth about it, but what comes up for me when you share your storyline is a lot of people battle with this concept of all or nothing or perfection. And when they don't have that, things slide for an extra week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, right? So one of the core mindsets that we work to develop and that I get a lot of good feedback about with members is this mindset of consistency over perfection that plays a big role. Now, it's a nice buzz line, a buzzword, and we all know, no, it's not all or nothing, but what really makes the difference is the development of that. So through conversation, through practice, through ongoing reflection, that gets developed. So when there's a few days missed or life hits or whatever it is, we don't get hung up on that and we're able to get back on the wagon. And therefore, over the week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 3 years, right, what we're able to see is consistency. And that's what really helps.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a Daf Yomi type of approach. Most of the people watching here are probably Orthodox Jewish males or females who know what Daf Yomi is. It's not about the in-depth nature of the learning that's most important. It's more about the consistency and being able to just pick yourself back up if you fall behind, find a way to make it real and relevant to you every single day. And it's not all or nothing. Because if you look at it as all or nothing, you're going to get a lot less done.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the things what are some quick tips and pieces of advice that you would give an entrepreneur who's just, like you said, pulled at all ends, personally and professionally? They'll tell you, I'm sure, pretty standard things like, I'd love to do it, but I don't have the time. What do you tell somebody like that? How could they get started a little bit with building the right?
So the mental energy to create the time is very difficult, and the mental energy to take on something else that you think you need to think a lot about is very difficult. So the challenge of all that is very real. But do we need that much energy, both physically or mentally, to drink more water? Or to take a phone call, right? To take a phone call while you're walking, maybe even outside, right? Yes, it takes a step, outside of your linear to take that phone call outside or on a walk or go and get that water. But it's pretty, sort of simple to make that step if the awareness is there. So that's what I would say. Like, start having some water in the morning to rehydrate. Start trying to move more by taking phone calls on a walk outside, especially as we move into spring. These are these types of things where it doesn't take as much, add more time or as much, that much more mental energy, that I would really suggest, and answer your question with.
Okay. I think that's great. It's like starting small with little things that you can do without any additional cost or even that much effort. It's just really a matter of focusing on it. Like, is there a reason I need to be sitting at my desk or like looking at a computer? If so, fine. But most of the calls that we do on a daily basis, you don't really need to be sitting down. Can you be walking around? I think that's great. It's an easy way to get started. Tell me a little bit about your program and how you work with people. Is it a group program? Is it one-on-one? What kind of offerings do you have? Like if somebody was interested in working with you?
Yeah, great question. I appreciate that. So there is a group aspect of it, but minimally, and it's not the focus. And what I found is what really is needed is more of that sort of personalized one-on-one connection, communication, personalization, etc. Now, the group aspects that we do have help kind of seeing when people are getting the workouts in, through a group, within our software, but it isn't like big focused on, community and community accountability and things like that. What it is that we're able to communicate one-on-one and guide you through that process and roadmap that the Academy has. So when it's nutrition, we have a step-by-step process and roadmap with your nutrition. And I guide you one-on-one with that. Same with your fitness, same with your mindset, same with your habits, all a structured roadmap. Mindset's not this like overarching, idea that makes no sense. There's a core 7 to 10 mindsets that we develop that's really important to your health and fitness journey. And we either, depending, we can, how often we meet, how often we this, but in general, you're getting guided through the process, through the roadmap to feel the way you want to feel, to get the outcomes you want to have. And that's what really excites me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so important. I know from my coaching with entrepreneurs, when people are down in the dumps about how they feel physically, how they look physically, it really does impact their business, it impacts their family life, it impacts everybody around them. And it has to start with a little bit of personal responsibility, I think, for taking control of what you want your health and what you want your wellness to be like. But I think once somebody has that desire and they're ready to take the next step, a lot of times they have like a flash of inspiration, and if they're not working with somebody, then like that inspiration lasts however long it lasts, and then they go back to whatever their routine was, and then derailed by a whole bunch of food or a great wedding or too much alcohol or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I like to say motivation dies, right?
Yeah.
So we have to move past the motivation and build an identity. Now, that does take time. It takes a strategy. It takes a roadmap. There's what it takes, but it is important to move in that direction. I actually just put together an article for the LA Jewish Home that talks about the negatives in health marketing in terms of how that rolls, and what's really important for people to realize is they need to look for what's being marketed in terms of long-term sustainable, what's working on not just nutrition and fitness, but also your mindset, your habits, things like that. It's really, really important. What's being marketed to you, personalized, like things like that are really important. Another thing I wanted to mention in terms of something I just thought about, I'm going to share on LinkedIn also, is this concept of health and leadership, meaning especially as Pesach's coming, and a lot of Jewish men are preparing for Pesach and leading their families through that process. How does that work? And you want to lead through having stability, right? What creates stability? When you are prioritizing your health, you're able to have that inner stability a lot stronger, whether it's, leading your family through Pesach, but also leading your business, leading your teams, leading your, whatever it may be. So that really is hitting home right now in terms of how health allows you to lead in different ways, which plays a big part in business growth.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think any leader has to be focused on what they want their priorities to be. And let's be honest. Only a fool would say their health should not be a priority. So, and I think again, with Pace-Off coming up, and this episode is going to come out right before Pace-Off. I think it's something that should be on your mind before Pace-Off. What is my plan going to be? How am I not going to fall into the trap of like getting to April 21st or whatever the day after Pace-Off is and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm like 10 pounds heavier. This is not good. And if you think about it beforehand, it's a little bit easier to moderate or eliminate kind of the negative effects of what should be like really obviously a powerful holiday for all of us. And feeling free about it, not to get too deep into it, as opposed to feeling weighed down.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, especially the last one. And if anybody's watching this and wants to reach out, I actually have, I'm not putting out necessarily to the public, but I have a breakdown of specific mindsets that you want to kind of go into Pesach with. And it touches upon that freedom of decision, freedom of, right? And definitely something you can reach out to, and I would love to share with you.
Okay, great. I'm going to take you up on that personally. If somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to find you?
So, firstly, if you're watching on LinkedIn, you could just send me a direct message, Chaim Loeb, but also you can email me, chaim@thefityid.com. That's the best ways to start off with, and I look forward to connecting.
Okay, great. Well, Chaim, thank you so much for sharing some of these tips and tricks, and I hope everybody watching has a great Yontiv and is thinking about and prioritizing their health in this time of year and really using the mindset to propel them forward. Thanks so much, Chaim.
Thank you. Bye-bye.